any other projects in this project. And it's because everybody's contributing. And I will say Miss Efficiency Queen Sabrina is unbelievable what she has pushed me personally. I don't know, you as well, right?
For sure.
Because we worked in other things together, and having her energy drive things keeps the momentum. And she's like that even with the tempo. She's like, no guys, we got to get people up and dancing. And so Naya and I would tend to lull in like some sad mournful songs and like feel like moony, and she's like, no, keep the tempo up and the pace up. And I don't know, that energy with your friends pushing you and driving you and inspiring you, it's so fun. It's really fun. And I just hope the listeners can appreciate like that as well, and they feel how much fun we're having. And it's such an honor to make music for people, and to think people actually really like it. It feels like finally I have an honorable profession and that I feel proud of.
and I'm sure your family's very proud of you.
They've come around now because
they've come around, right? Yeah. Then they're like, at first they're like, oh yeah, she's a musician. Oh wow, look, she's on stage, she's out on tour. And it's like, oh, I need tickets now.
Yeah, I think once we did like a TV appearance, then your parents took us a little more seriously, right?
Yeah. Jules Holland in the UK is something that we were very excited. I'm not actually, maybe we're not allowed to say that yet, but beep it out. But
yeah, hopefully we'll try to get rid of that.
It's Saturday morning, and that was pretty fun, and a couple other things up our sleeve this year.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're going to have a lot up your sleeve sleeves, I should say, because okay, I'm a little bit of a musical snob, I have to admit. And I listened to like a lot of your stuff, your first album, your second album. I was listening and I was like, wow, this is like really, it was refreshing. And it was also the engineering for me and how it sounded sonically. Now, did you ladies have a hand in that, in the final, and like, oh, we want this like the sound of the 70s to be in there, this echo in the background and our voices and, the reverb that's happening, the wall of sound, So I just find the mix to be really intriguing also.
Well, it means a lot. I mean, we made the two records in very different ways, but with some similar practices. So I don't know if you were talking about Prism or you were talking about Silver, but with Prism, the majority of that stuff, we had recorded those tape stems with our friend Joey Crispiano, who he just opened up a new studio, and he was gifted a tape machine by Gabe Roth from, one of the owners of Daptone. And, he just kind of flung up the tape machine. He wanted to get it going, wanted to master it. And he shared the space with a couple of other artists in the New York scene that we love, including Benny Troken, who we also wrote Trouble with. But the boys were like, right, got to make rent this month. And I said, well, what's the rent? And they, told me what it was. And there was a little shortfall. And we said, okay, guess what? We'll come in and we'll cut some demos. And so, in that time, we had very quickly penned things, and always with a view that we would keep working and working. And we were so lucky that we had those tape stems and basically scratch tracks of vocals. And then when COVID hit, we thought, okay, this is a time and a moment and a place to revisit things, to work on things, and to use what we have. And that speaks to what I think is the most important thing when you're working with analog gear and recording equipment. Live within your limitations. I mean, it should be a motto for life, really. Live within your limitations, accept where you are and what you have, and be comfortable with that. We don't always need to strive for the next best piece of equipment or some, we can always have that. But what about just working within the parameters of what we have? And that was how we applied that logic to Prism. And we ended up spending hours and hours, really, of working remotely with our friend Sean Simmons, who is a wonderful mixing engineer, and he worked tirelessly. He's based out in Seattle, so we did that. And then an old friend, Sean Brennan, who works at the Love Works, was also in the band with me from Sal P days with 178 Product. he did the mastering for us and also mixed Forget Me Not. And we just, we pulled in favors and we traded things, and Victor Axelrod came in and laid the keys down. Our friend Max Schrager from the Shacks produced Prism in the studio, and the studio we were able to record, I should say remotely, but record in a safe way because the studio is so big.